挣脱的黑夜手一盏骨头。
自从佩洛西访台后，中共的网络上开始流传这样一段视频。
新华社向全世界通告，台湾的一切海权、主空权由中华人民共和国管辖。
一、废止台湾所谓的地方政府与境外政府或组织签订的所有条约主协议。二、台湾现行的政府主军事一律就地自行解散。三、台湾实行中国共产党领导下的人民民主专政制度，凡拥护共产党领导、拥护祖国统一的台湾公民，依法享有同中国大陆公民同等的一切民主权利，保障台湾公民合法取得的私有财产。
四、台湾因国际民生需要的所有进出口货物，包括但不限于暂由福建省马尾港口查验通关。五、任命洪秀柱为台湾省人民政府代省长，依法行使台湾省全境行政事务治理管理权，授权洪秀柱代省长：一、立即筹组台湾省人民政府；二、迅速组建台湾内卫警察部队，稳定社会秩序；三、督促军事、主政府等组织及工作人员就地登记，可根据实际情况委托指定信赖人员管理现行财产。上述各项开支由中央人民政府列支。六、若发生不可预测和不可控制状况，可请求中央人民政府支援。七、此政令自2022年8月15日起生效。
有人提醒，虽然这算是个假消息，但却是中共有意放行的，而这本身已经能够说明一些问题了。而这段视频却的确是真实的，其中更提到了中共侵占台湾之后所做的承诺。
统一后，台湾的和平安宁将得到充分保障，台湾同胞的生活方式、私人财产、宗教信仰、合法权益不受侵犯。所有拥护祖国统一、民族复兴的台湾同胞将真正当家作主，参与台湾治理和祖国建设，尽享发展福祉与复兴荣耀。台湾的财政收入尽可用于改善民生。
只是有人认为中共承诺的东西多了，但他除了对民众斩尽杀绝，什么都没有兑现过。而事实上，这种看法并不过分，因为这位中共的大使面对外国媒体却说出了另外的一番话。
En parlant de la volonté de la population de Taïwan il y a 20 ans。
据说，这位中共的大使除了表示不排除用武力侵占台湾之外，更说台湾民众被台湾政府所愚弄，一旦占领台湾，要对台湾人民进行再教育。有人感到这位大使所言让人不寒而栗，因为中共显然是想把台湾变成第二个新疆。有人更联想到上海的民众在中共的疫情管制之下悲惨境遇。有人更介绍，上海的民众在疫情管控之下想加油都很困难。
所以我单位看到搿搭来，我机构已经是为零了，说自己叫我登记两了。就是讲，如果上海是有规定，
而事实上，上海的天气也有些异常。
不得了了，上海下冰雹，有冰雹多了，天气预报怎么没报道？哎呀！
更有网友介绍，在8月5日，上海的某些地区最高气温已经超过了50摄氏度。只是中共的气象局说这个数据并不真实，但有人却介绍中共永远不会让温度超过40度的，因为40度以上企业就要停工了。而有人更介绍，上海解封之后，有不少上海人就逃到海南去了。然而不幸的消息却是，当下的海南又开始了疫情管控，
房也退了，然后呢也没地方吃饭，反正带着孩子。
因此又有不少人想尽快的逃离那里。只是他们的行为却迎来了中共的警察。而更有消息称，有不少游客因为这次的疫情管制损失惨重，这些不幸的游客中有不少人是上海人。更有外媒记者亲身体会了北京的民众在疫情管制之下的生活。
This is part of my daily routine in Beijing. All right, getting my temperature check. Mandatory testing for the city's 20 million plus residents.
I've got to show them my passport and they have to type it in every single time.
Beijing halted almost all public activity for weeks over just a few dozen daily COVID cases. Non-essential stores have been shut down, including schools and gyms, and all in-restaurant dining is banned indefinitely. The capital recently reopened some venues like malls and parks with limited capacity, and visitors have to show proof of a recent COVID test. But still, the biggest crowds often appear to be parades of COVID workers, spraying disinfectant all over the streets.
So it's green, I'm good to go in. I need this green code to enter any area in Beijing. If it turns red, then I could be stuck at home or sent to quarantine. Through these smartphone apps, authorities can carefully track the movements of virtually all of China's 1.4 billion people. Grocery shelves here fully stocked. Beijing officials clearly trying to show people that no matter how long this partial lockdown lasts for, people are going to be fed.
Not like in Shanghai, where people struggled to get enough food when they were locked down.
This is a building where a positive COVID case has been found. You can see the workers in hazmat suits, the blue barrier around the building. This is to keep the people who live there locked inside, but it also serves as a warning to other residents. There's a fear that if you spend too much time by a lockdown building, your QR code could turn red.
Just one positive COVID case can get an entire building bussed to government quarantine. This is just one of the many high-risk areas in Beijing. Residents avoid even transiting through the red dots on the map.
It's lunchtime in Beijing's most popular food district. Normally people here would be gathered, crowded shoulder to shoulder, but now it is essentially a ghost town. And even here, there are signs reminding people to avoid crowds and security guards on the loudspeakers telling people to distance themselves. But after more than 2 years of these on and off restrictions, people are getting frustrated. Every part of our days are tracked and surveilled. People are concerned that this control is here to stay long after COVID is gone.
And Becky, it sounds like a dystopian movie to have a colored code either give you access to society or send you to quarantine or keep you locked at home. But this is the reality of what we're dealing with in China. My daily routine every day is entirely dictated by the color of the code on my phone. If it were to go red, everything would be upended. And the way the technology works is rather opaque. So oftentimes the message is to be safe, to stay away from those high-risk areas. And across China, local governments are pouring so many resources into surveillance, into these lockdowns, into mass testing. By CNN's calculations, just 1 day of mass testing in Beijing is costing the city around $10 million. And health experts say more focus perhaps should be put on increasing vaccinations in China, especially among the elderly. And important note here that mRNA vaccines are still not available to the population here in China. So the government here still calling zero COVID a success, a victory. So this type of new normal we're living, it's not going to go away anytime soon.
而更有人担心，即便是中共病毒消失，这样的生活可能依然会持续下去。而这位推特的前 CEO 看了这段视频之后，打出了 Endccp。事实上，在美国，有人一直在传播着结束中共的这一理念。
50 people with the Global Service Center for Quitting the Chinese Communist Party, or CCP, drove 15 vehicles through downtown Chicago. They were campaigning for America's support on a petition calling for the end of the CCP. Michael Yu, a participant, says the goal is to expose the evilness of the Chinese Communist Party to the American public.
Since the CCP took over China, it has killed 80 million Chinese people. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the CCP covered up the outbreak, which led to the deaths of millions of people globally. We need to tell the truth to the American people. Additionally, the CCP has been infiltrating the world, especially in the US. Many have been influenced by communist ideology. We hope through this road tour to explain the truth to the American public and help them see through the Chinese Communist Party and help them understand the wickedness of communism and the CCP. That way they can choose righteousness, boycott communism's ideology, and be vigilant about the CCP.
The group started in New York, and Chicago is one stop on a 20-state road tour covering 8,000 miles. The group will head northwest all the way to Seattle, Washington. The Endccp website has almost 2.5 million signatures for its petition. Yu urges anyone who wishes to support the initiative to sign the petition at endccp.com.
Child, we will flower that sees the spring, soon a dove flying high